All rise. The Court of the 21st Judicial Circuit in for Bryan County, Florida, Civil Division is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lewis presiding.
Oh, appreciate it. Everyone but the jury may be seated. Mr. Michael, please swear in our jury.
Go the other way. Go behind the judge. Sorry.
Jury, please stand and raise your right hand. Jury, answer I do or yes after I ask you the following question. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will clearly listen to this case and render a true verdict for the parties involved in this case?
I do.
Jury, you may be seated.
Members of the jury, the duty today is to determine whether the defendant is liable for the plaintiff's damages based on only the facts and evidence presented in this case regarding an incident occurring on March 23, 2022. The plaintiff must prove that the defendant's conduct was negligent, careless, reckless, willful, and wanton, causing the plaintiff's damages. Also, the defendant has filed a counterclaim claiming the plaintiff was negligent and reckless, causing the defendant's damages. Mr. Michael, what's today's case?
Your Honor, today's case is Jesse McGee versus Casey Moore.
Plaintiffs, are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counselor, you may begin.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Members of the jury, my name is Elizabeth Kong. I represent the plaintiff, Jesse McGee, owner and humble farmer of Spring Garden Farms, who has lived their whole life in Bryan County. My client is suing Casey Moore, whose reckless driving caused a car accident which resulted in the death of McGee's prize bull, Pete. On March 23, 2022, in Bryan County, a rural area where livestock and wildlife are common, a terrible car accident occurred. Unknown to my client, he got out into the road through a hole that has been cut in the fence. Witness Mel Hinnett comes driving along the state road and sees Pete in the road. Hinnett stops in the road to avoid hitting Pete. Next, defendant Casey Moore comes driving along and crashes into Hinnett's car, causing it to hit Pete, ultimately resulting in Pete's death. The plaintiff is here to avenge Pete and hold the defendant liable for the damage they caused. We will show that the defendant, Casey Moore, is liable for the death of Pete. We are going to prove that the hole in McGee's fence was not due to the lack of care and did not cause the death of Pete, but Moore's reckless driving was the sole cause leading to the death of Pete. Our witnesses will prove the following. Jesse McGee will testify to the care they provide to the animals and the farm, how they couldn't prevent their animals from escaping every day. Mel Hinnett will provide eyewitness details from the car crash that occurred on March 23rd, 2022. Hinnett will explain the manner in which Casey Moore drove and how it caused the accident and Pete's untimely death. Hunter Brown, a manager at McGee's farm, will provide details of the cut in the fence, the location on a map of the city where Pete escaped from. They will prove that the fence was cut and not damaged from lack of maintenance, as the fences around Spring Garden Farms were maintained and monitored. We will prove by preponderance of the evidence that Moore is over 50% liable for the claim brought against him. After you heard all the evidence we presented, At the end of this trial, we ask you to return a verdict in favor of Jesse McGee.
Counselor, you may present your opening statement.
Let's pause real quick though. So what did we just learn from the plaintiff's opening statement? Jury. You guys are listening, that's nice.
It was a car crash and the fence is broken, and they stated that I'm pretty sure it's either a child or an animal has been killed.
Pete the bull has been killed.
We learned when it happened, where it happened, and what happened.
Yeah, we learned that. They're saying that there was a hole in the fence, but it was not due to negligence, and Pete was killed by a negligent driver, is their argument. Thank you.
You may begin.
Your Honors, member of the jury, my name is Javen Van, and I'm presenting Casey Moore in this case. We intended to prove that on March 23rd, 2022, at around 8:30 a.m., Casey Moore encountered a SUV stop in eastbound lane of SR 377 in Bryan County. Casey realized the SUV had stopped and attempted to stop as quickly as possible, but still rear-ended the car in front of her. Unfortunately, Casey hit Mr. Hennett's car, which caused him to hit Pete the Bull. Pete the Bull suffered several injuries, resulting in him needing to be euthanized. The plaintiff's demand from my client $50,000 for the cost of the bull and $50,000 for the loss of future earnings from the bull for 5 years. We think it's reasonable due to the fact that Jesse McGee is completely responsible for the bull escaping and getting hit by a vehicle. Jesse McGee is liable for damages of both parties because they knew that their fence kept breaking, which led to Pete the Bull escaping Spring Garden Farms. Sung Yee called Jesse McGee the night before the accident happened to inform them, but Jesse McGee chose to ignore the call. McGee should have installed a warning sign about stray livestock or tried to call him to repair a damaged fence. Our witness Sung Yee will tell us that the animals always get out of Spring Garden Farm and that Jesse McGee is well aware of this problem. McGee continued to completely ignore this recruit problem and didn't do anything to prevent his animals from escaping. McGee negligently allowed their animals to escape, and by not fixing the problem, it's caused this incident, and therefore our clients should not be liable for any of these damages. Under the law, or all the evidence will show that the damage sustained by the plaintiff were due solely to Jesse McGee. On negligence, reckless failure to contain livestock of their farm, failure to respond to the notice of a down fence, and failure to exercise reasonable care towards the safety of the plaintiffs. On livestock, and the protection of people traveling on the roadway. For these reasons, at the end of this trial, we will ask you to find a verdict in favor of the defendant, Casey Moore.
Plaintiff, you may call your first witness.
Pause for a second.
What was the argument that the attorney was making about the opening statement?
That they knew that the fence kept breaking, so they knew that the fence kept breaking and cows kept escaping, so it was their fault with the cow.
So he was proving that Jesse McGee was completely negligent and was not the cause of why Pete was hurt.
Well, we also learned that the car had been rear-ended, causing injuries to the bull. So it wasn't a total death, but eventually it died.
So that would be put down. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I call to stand Jesse McGee.
Will the witness please stand and be sworn in by the witness?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please say your name for the court.
Jesse McGee.
What do you do for a living?
I own and work on Spring Garden Farms. It's a farm I was born and raised on, then inherited from my parents.
How much money did Pete provide you with?
Pete provided me with an income of roughly $10,000 a year.
Where were you when the accident occurred?
I was working outside of my farm during the accident. I got a call from Sheriff Wall informing me what happened.
How often are your fences monitored for damage?
They're checked on nearly every day by my assistant, Hunter Brown. He keeps a close eye on the fence, especially after noticing someone has been cutting our fences every few weeks.
When did you find the hole in the fence?
Shortly after the accident,
Was there any alternative option to putting Pete down?
there's no other option. Pete would have been suffering for the rest of his life because cattle's legs don't heal very well. Similar to a beloved dog and very sick, he'll be in pain forever.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
The defense may cross-examine the witness.
So what did we learn just now from the witness there? Yes.
That apparently when we was checking the fences to make sure that it wasn't broken, and he had said someone had been cutting the fences.
Anything else? Thank you. How he is the farmer. He is the plaintiff in this case, by the way. He's the one who is suing primarily.
He's also not there to witness the accident.
Yeah.
By the sheriff of the.
He's only witness because he's a plaintiff. There are witnesses who did actually see the accident and were in it. Thank you.
You may begin.
What is your relationship with Songi?
Yeah, my next door neighbor.
Did Songi ever call you when they noticed a hole in your fence or when one of your animals was loose?
Yes.
McGee, didn't you receive a call the night before the accident from your neighbor Songi warning you about a hole in your fence?
Yes. Well, I wasn't home to answer the call, and I didn't even learn about the call until after the accident happened.
Did you check your phone often for any calls or texts concerning your animals?
No.
So your incomes and didn't watch your animals or maintain your fence?
I wouldn't say that. I was just busy checking on other animals that I have in my barn.
So you're saying you have too many animals?
Yes, but that's common in farming.
Do you have anyone serving the farm in the morning to determine the location of your animals, including Pete?
Yeah. Hunter Brown, my farmhand, is responsible for conducting animal location checks, but they did that morning.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
You may step down.
So what did we learn from that specific witness too on the cross-examination?
So they had gotten a call the other night from their neighbor, but he didn't acknowledge that they had called in their disputes.
Yeah. And how he may or may not have known about a cut in the fence. I'm not sure.
The other farmhand did not go into the fence that morning.
Thank you.
Plaintiff, you may call your second witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I call to the stand Mel Hinnant.
Will the witness please stand and be sworn in by the bearer?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Please state your name for the court. Can you please explain where you were when the accident occurred?
I was late to my class and I was driving by Spring Gardens Farm, and that's where I saw Pete in the road.
How did the car collision happen?
When I saw Pete standing in the middle of the road, I stopped before I came into contact with him. But Casey Moore was driving in the same direction, and I believe she was speeding or not paying attention to the road. So she hit my car, causing me to push into Pete.
Did you ever notice anything unusual or out of the ordinary leading up to the incident?
No, I didn't really notice anything too different than that.
What was your history with the farm?
My dad was good friends with Jesse McGee, and I took care of Pete when he was a calf and then sold him to McGee.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
The defense may cross-examine the witness.
Did you have your hazard lights on when you stopped for the bull?
I did not have my hazard lights on.
How long were you stopped there?
I was stopped there for less than a minute.
Why didn't you take precaution by putting hazard lights on for the others around you, like Casey Moore?
I was more focused on the bull that was standing in the middle of the road.
Did you not hear the cars screeching when Casey Moore tried to stop?
I did not.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
You may step down.
Okay, let's go up for a second. Alright, so what did we learn for the cross-examination just now?
He didn't put his hazard.
Yes, he did not put his hazard lights on, so that means if there are any other cars around him, they wouldn't know or like have precaution of like why he was stopped.
He did not hear the screeching of the cars.
He did not. Instead of taking precaution and putting his hazard lights on for other people around him. That is all.
Plaintiff, you may call your third witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I call to the stand Hunter Brown.
Will the witness please stand to be sworn in by the jury?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name for the court.
My name is Hunter Brown.
What do you do for a living?
I am employed by Jesse McGee at Spring Hill Farms as a farmhand.
What do you do on Spring Garden Farm?
I wake up at 4 a.m. every day and I check on the livestock and the pasture areas.
How many times do you usually check the fence?
Every day I check on them and then make sure that all the animals are in place and make sure that the fences are okay. Lately we have noticed holes in the fence popping up occasionally. We've investigated them, but we are suspicious of the recurring holes. We saw that the holes were being cut and ran in down. Jesse McGee suspects his neighbor, son Ye, but I will fix the holes and move on.
When was the last hole found?
We noticed the hole in the fence on Monday, but we fixed it immediately. The accident happened on a Wednesday. Just a couple fine, but we believe that it was a negligence. That the cut was intentionally cut.
What did you do upon finding the hole?
We fixed it on Monday, the same day we found it. We used 300 feet of wire because the vandal had cut all 3 string wires. The fence was good as new before the end of that same Monday.
Are these the locations of the cuts you found throughout the place?
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
The defense may cross-examine the witness.
So what did we learn from Hunter Brown just now?
They think
that their neighbor cut the fence.
We wakes up at 4 a.m. to check the fences and all that stuff.
That's unfortunate. I'm so sorry.
And when he checks on it, he is very diligent about checking on it. And he noticed that there were cuts, and he said the cuts weren't due to a lack of care, they were intentionally cut, right?
Yes, that's what it looked like.
Okay. Thank you.
Dr. Brown, did you know the fence was broken?
No, I did not know the fence was broken before the accident,
Does the fence break often?
only occasionally.
Would you say that whenever you go to check on the animals that you would see Sunny try to sabotage Jesse McGee's fence?
I've never witnessed that, it's only a hunch.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
You may step down. Defense, you may call your first witness.
Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to call to the stand Casey Moore.
Will the witness please stand to be sworn in by the bailiff?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Please state your name for the court.
Casey Molds.
What is your name and occupation?
I'm an investment banker.
How long have you been working as an investment banker?
20 years. After I got out of college, I started as an investment banker.
Who are you?
I'm a single parent. My spouse died in a boating accident in January 2020. I have 3 kids, ages 9, 6, and 4. Mainly, I'm on the road and carting the kids to multiple activities.
How are you involved in this accident?
I was driving my kids to school when the car in front of me hit the brakes and I crashed into the car.
What was your relationship with the farmer?
I didn't have a relationship. I don't know him.
What were you doing at the time of the incident? Please be descriptive.
I was talking on the phone, but I was using the navigational and emergency system on my car through my smartphone. Both my hands were on the wheel and I was looking ahead.
What do you know about the other parties in this incident?
They seemed to know each other.
What do you know about the person in the car in front of you?
Not much, but I heard the new McGee.
Did you have any personal problems or issues with the farmer, Jesse McGee?
No, but I'm familiar with Jesse McGee since they have complained at the city council meetings about the farmland being sold so it can be developed into neighborhoods.
No further questions.
Okay, let's pause for a second. So what did we learn about the
Person telling them to stop.
Yes, because he was paying attention while driving. Anyone else? Any more questions?
You may resume.
The plaintiff may call the cross-examining witness.
When did you notice Mr. Hennett was stopped on?
Not until it was too late to stop.
When did you stop before hitting Hennett?
I stopped after going uphill, after the sun blasted me in the eyes, saw the SUV and pressed on the brakes.
So why were you on a call when you were driving?
I was talking to a coworker about upcoming meetings.
So you would say that you were distracted with the call while driving instead of putting your full attention on the road?
No, but my kids were being loud. My daughter was crying and my sons were arguing, and I got mad.
Would you say that this distraction would have been a part of your car crashing into Melchionet's car?
Well, I admit that I had things on my mind at the moment. I was busy thinking about the meetings and events of the day.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
You may
So
step
let's
down.
interject right there. What did we learn from the cross-examination?
The person was distracted. They were on the phone and they didn't determine the background. They found that the distracted they were.
And since there were things distracting, there could have been a chance that the rear ending of Mel Hinnick's car was negligence. It could have been avoided. Yeah. Thank you.
You may step down. Defense, you may call your second witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to call to the stand Wesley Wally.
Will the witness please stand and be sworn in by the bailiff?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Please state your name for the court.
My name is Wesley Wall.
What is your occupation?
I'm the sheriff of Bryan County Sheriff's Department
How long have you been working as a sheriff in Bryan County, Florida?
for about 10 years.
When did you arrive at the scene of the incident that occurred March 23rd, 2022?
I arrived at the scene at 9:03 in the morning.
Sheriff Wally, can you tell us what you saw when you arrived at the scene of the accident between your parties in this lawsuit?
When I arrived at the scene, I saw Mel standing by the vehicles in the road and Casey Moore was still in the room. I quickly surveyed the scene and saw the board front of the vehicle, and it looked like to me they had 4 different.
Do you remember the exact words you were told from the radio?
Not really. All I remember is just that radio me saying they received 2 calls about an incident on State Road 377 involving a bull and a couple cars.
Have you had any past connections with anyone in this incident?
Kinda. I had a couple of past run-ins with North Man, but that's it.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
22, you may come up to your possible questions.
So you have worked as an officer for 10 years.
Yes.
Why were you at the scene of the incident?
I got a call from the dispatcher from the radio saying that there was an accident and I should come over.
What did the scene of the incident look like?
There are farms on either side of the road and fences separating the farms. The lead vehicle was Northern while the other car behind it belonged to Casey Moore, with damage in front from hitting the next car.
Is this the incident you're describing, sir?
Yes.
When did you arrive at the scene? What did you notice about the road and McGee's farm?
The state road went straight, then had a crest to the west. I didn't notice anything different about McGee's farm that day.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
You may step down. Defense, you may call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I called to the stand Sunday.
Will the witness please stand and be sworn by the bailiff?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name for the court.
Sonny,
How do you know the parties involved in this case?
we are neighbors.
What is your past experience with Jesse McGee?
Once I moved to Cotton Hill Farms, me and Jesse McGee had disagreements from the start. Since McGee owns 3 garden farms, and I didn't want to sell any part of the same family farm.
Did you ever have any problems with McGee's animals?
No, I've never had
Now, I've never had any problems with the animals, but the fact that her animals have always gone inside the fence. And I'll call them every single time to come get their animals.
Objection, Your Honor. Fundamental dishonesty outside the scope of evidence.
You're the plaintiff now. Disregard Sonny's response.
Oh, wait.
So what did we learn from the witness about that could help the defendant?
It says plaintiff, but it's supposed to be defense.
No, it's an objection, so the plaintiff's supposed to object.
Oh, my bad.
Okay.
We'll see
She's trying to object.
Bring the mic closer.
Okay, go ahead, just pick up from where you left off.
Do we know what the objection was, jury? Or shall we have it repeated by the plaintiff?
Objection, Your Honor. Fundamental dishonesty outside of the scope of evidence.
So it's outside of the scope of evidence, meaning that it was taken and drastically exaggerated and was put in differently and could have been a lie.
Thank you. Have you ever tried to help solve any problems that McGee would have with her animals getting out?
Yes, I made a call to McGee and I left a voicemail about how the fence had a hole and there was a black bull near the hole and they had to ignore my calls.
Did you ever try to sabotage McGee's fence?
Now I have never done or thought of sabotaging his fence and said I was always trying to help him because anytime I saw the fence down so that I could fix the problem and none of their animals that got hurt.
Did you see the fence down before the accident had occurred?
Yes, as I had entered in my previous statement, I had tried calling Jesse McGee that night to let them know, but they just had to ignore my calls.
Were there any problems trying to sell any part of the land that Sean had owned?
Yes, when I was in the middle of the negotiation with our buyer, I was approached by McGee who told me there was no way our farm would be bought and he made an allegation with the county that scared our buyer away.
No further questions.
The plaintiff may cross-examine the witness.
Okay, what did we learn from the witness that was on the defendant's side?
That when she tried to tell them that the fence was broken, they kept on ignoring his calls.
Yes, so Jesse McGee was not innocent on these calls when he was trying to inform them that the fence was told. He also left a voicemail. So Sungee left Jesse McGee a voicemail the night before the accident had occurred, and Jesse McGee could have checked that voicemail, and the accident couldn't have happened if Jesse McGee went and looked for the hole for Pete before he go and fix the fence. So looks like Sungee and Jesse don't get along, and like I really want to suggest that he doesn't want to cooperate with me about selling the farm.
That's all. Did you ever notice holes in McGee's fence prior to the incident?
Yes,
Did you observe how long it would usually take for the holes to be fixed?
I did, and it was usually fixed pretty quickly.
So was it common for animals to escape and furthermore end up far enough to get to the road?
Well, not that I know of, no.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
You may step down. Both the plaintiff and the defense have now rested their cases. The attorney will now present their final arguments. Plaintiff, you may begin.
Before that, what did we learn that could help the plaintiff's side? And before that, but we did also learn that he didn't check his voicemail and was not cooperating with Sunye. But at the same time, it is his farm, so he gets to decide if he sells it or not. But if he had checked his voicemail, then there may not have been this accident. So, thing to think about. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the jury, today you have just heard the testimony about a car accident that led to the death of Jesse McGee's prize bull, Pete. And now you will be tasked to decide the verdict of this case. We have proven the defendant, Casey Moore, drove recklessly because they did not give their full attention to the road due to their utter lack of care while driving. The life of Pete the Bull was prematurely and brutally ended. Pete the Bull was invaluable to Jesse McGee as an important source of income for the continued operation of Spring Garden Farms. Before the incident, McGee had never experienced such reckless and careless driving near his farm. No one deserved to suffer the consequences of the defendant's irresponsible behavior and have their livelihoods impacted so negatively like the plaintiff had suffered in this case. Let me remind you that the three witnesses' testimonies. From our three witnesses, Jesse McGee, Hunter Brown, and Mel Hannett, we have shown that Casey Moore, the defendant, is liable for the death of Pete the Bull by preponderance of the evidence and should be liable to the defendant for $100,000 worth of damages for killing Pete the Bull. Mel Hannett's testimony shows how reckless Casey Moore's driving was on the fateful day. Hannett was able to spot Pete in the road and stop before hitting Hannett. Was a careful driver because he stopped in time, avoiding harming Pete, but Moore was a reckless and distracted driver, resulting in the accident and the death of Pete. During Jesse McGee's testimony, we have learned that they are not responsible for Pete being in the road. Jesse was a do-it-for farmer that monitored and cared for his farm. In rural areas, every driver should use more care when driving by farms, as it is common for animals to roam in the road, and it is responsible for the drivers to pay attention to avoid any incidents. Therefore, McGee was not liable for the defendants for any damages caused to their car during the incident. During Brown's testimony, we learned that Jesse McGee's fence must have been sabotaged since it was believed to be cut by an instrument and was not behaved by livestock, causing Pete's escape, which was not Jesse's fault. Hunter Brown was able to explain the exact location of the cut in McGee's fence and that they did not have prior knowledge of these breaks in the fence. Members of the jury, we ask that you find the only just verdict possible in case that Casey Moore is liable for the death of Pete the Bull and should pay damages for the amount of $100,000 to the plaintiff of the negligence.
Defense, you may proceed with your closing argument.
For that, what was effective about the plaintiff's closing statement? What made us think that the plaintiffs were right and Casey Moore is in fact liable and that Jesse McGee is in the right? And there was talk about how there couldn't have prevented any and all livestock from being out, and drivers in rural areas should be more careful than maybe on, say, a city. Just like in a neighborhood where you don't want to run over a kid, in a rural area you don't want to run over a cow or a bull, and then it dies. That's unfortunate. Rest in peace, people.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the jury, today you have heard testimonies about how Casey Moore encountered an SUV stop in the eastbound lane of SR 377 in Bryan County. Casey Moore realized that the SUV had stopped and she had attempted to stop as quickly as possible, but she still ended up rear-ending the car in front of her. Unfortunately, she hit Mr. in his car, which caused him to hit Pete the Bull. Pete the Bull suffered several injuries, resulting in him needing to euthanize the plaintiff, demand $50,000 for the cost of the bull and $50,000 for the income the bull would have over his lifespan. We think it's reasonable due to the fact that Jesse McGee completed for responsibility the bull's escaping and getting away by a hit vehicle. Jesse McGee is liable for damages of both parties because they knew that their fence kept breaking, which led to Pete the Bull getting out Sungi called Jesse McGee. The night before the incident happened, to let him know but Jesse McGee chose to ignore the call. And Casey Moore was not the cause of Pete's death. It was Jesse McGee's negligence. I'm not taking proper care and preparation, where with their animals and their fence that led to Pete's death. If Jess McGee had slowed down to actually repair the offense, we wouldn't be here in court today to solve a case that the plaintiff was clearly negligent and not doing the right thing by their livestock on their farm. Instead, the plaintiff is blaming Casey Moore for a murder accident. Y'all spelled that right, accident that would have even occurred if Jess McGee had repaired the fence, who was actually at fault here. We implore you to find a verdict holding that the plaintiff will be liable for the defendant damages to their vehicle in an amount of approximately $18,000, and find our client Casey Moore not liable for the death of Pete the Bull, thus is on the plaintiff. Oh, thank you, Your Honor. I just now.
Okay, so what was effective about what we learned from the defendant's closing statement? So he did state that it was all due to Jesse McGee's negligence because he did not check about his fence. He wasn't checking anyone for the ground, wasn't really actually checking the fence and that. And what was ineffective about the plaintiff's side of their closing statement? I don't think you guys say that they are wrong.
Members of the jury, you have heard all of the testimony concerning this case. It is now up to you to determine the facts. You and you alone are the judges of the fact. Once you decide what the evidence proves, you must then apply the law as I provided to you and reach the verdict in this case. The law in this case is a driver's conduct is negligent, careless, reckless, willful, and wanton if a fact finder determines the driver failed to do any of the following: A, obey the posted speed limit; B, decrease the speed of the vehicle upon cresting the hill; C, follow a vehicle too closely; D, fail to keep a proper lookout for vehicles and other obstructions in the roadway; E, fail to exercise the degree of reasonable and ordinary skill or care necessary to avoid injury and damages to others. Now, jury, you are to determine if the defendant Casey Moore was driving reckless and careless, making the defendant Casey Moore liable to the plaintiff Jesse McGee for the full amount of damages totaling $100,000 due to causing the death of Pete the Bull, or is the plaintiff liable for contrary negligence, which would diminish the amount of damages they can be awarded due to not securing their fence the morning of the accident, thus making the plaintiff liable to the defendant for damaging their vehicle in the amount of $18,234.16. In just a moment, the bailiff will take you to the jury room and consider your verdict. One of the first things you will want to do is to select a foreperson. It will be the foreperson's duty to sign verdict form when you have agreed to a verdict. Whatever verdict you render, a majority of the jurors must agree to the verdict. The bailiff now will escort you to the deliberation room.
All rise.
Right.
No, this is a long and tedious
Then they cut a verdict. Right already.
On
Mouse, I
the
think
court.
we're ready.
We win, guys.
You're ready? Let me open the door. Let me open the door for you. Alex, you got a verdict?
Who you picked out? Who y'all picked? Who y'all picked?
Miss Powell's still there. Make sure you came out alive, Miss Powell.
Miss Powell.
They know better.
Miss Powell, who did you pick? Come on.
Have you reached a verdict?
She got the peekaboo sign. Wow.
Are you ready?
Have you reached a verdict?
Yes, you have.
What say you?
Yes.
We, the jury, find defendant liable for the plaintiff's damages. In the defendant's counterclaim, we find the plaintiff is not liable for the defendant's damages. The defendant is 70% liable, and the plaintiff is 30% liable.
Thank you. Thank you, jury, for your service today. Court is adjourned.
So let me explain the verdict. So what they're saying, let me show you that you got what you wanted. So you're saying that the plaintiff isn't liable for the damages to the defendant's car at all, right? And you said that the defendant is liable for 70% of the $100,000, so like $70,000, right? So the plaintiff is able to get back $70,000 of the $100,000. That's really reasonable. Good job. Okay, you guys, this took us months to do. We've been doing this since November, so Street Law, I'm really proud of you. And my ladies that stepped in to run the trial as the teacher did a really good job. I appreciate you. Go ahead, give a round of applause.
I know you over this year.
Exactly. Thank you for coming dressed and prepared today. When you started off with your voice, it really engaged us, so I appreciate that, and my others that did it too. So thank you so much. We will look at the recording next week, kind of reflect on it, and we'll probably edit some more, maybe do it again for Law Day in May, and let some of my other classes do this. You guys worked really hard on the script. It was effective, it was engaging, and your jury knew right away what they wanted to do. So your arguments were clear and precise, and they were able to understand the case. So that's a really good job. And Lady wants to say something about the bull. We're gonna put the bull to rest now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you. Thank you very much. Everyone. We're not worried about that right now. So we're gonna log off. You're in my class right now. So log off.
Everyone, pay your respects to eat the bowl.
Then turn the mics off. Who's gonna add a cheeseburger one way or another?
You're on the plaintiff's side. This is your bowl. This is exactly.
Turn the cheeseburger.
All right, respect.
Okay. How do you feel?